My eye has been twitching for the past couple of days and it's really irritating me. So if you see that happening, just ignore it. Let's just pretend that she's acting normal. Hello, I am Veda. Why was that so aggressive? I don't know. I felt like that was aggressive. A lot of people have been requesting book-related videos. Let me just sit down and talk to you guys about my habits for a second. I think a lot of people can relate to the idea that if you're required to read for school, sometimes it's hard for you to keep up on it for just regular old me. That was kind of like my situation when I was in school, and now that I'm not in school, I have no excuse. I just don't read as much as I would like to. Oh, by the way, just ignore these two fingers. It's gel, and for some reason these two fingers got like nicked a lot, and then the gel sort of was able to just be peeled right off like wallpaper, and so that's what I did, and now I just look like this, and so I'm sorry. I was gonna fix it and then I just didn't have time. At the moment, I mostly read nonfiction because I read about spirituality and about psychology and mental health and stuff like that. I think the reason why I can't keep a habit is because sometimes reading how-to books or nonfiction books or educational books can get a bit monotonous in certain ways. And also I like to take notes when I'm reading those types of books. So I thought, you know what, I need something a bit more casual to read, like fiction. What better way to do that than to make a TBR list for maybe summertime? It's not quite summertime yet, it's only June now. Happy Pride Month. I'm gonna say summer TBR even though it's June, July, August. This is something that you must know. I am not a fast reader. I typically read very slowly in my brain because I'm coming up with this whole show in my mind, and so that takes up a lot of time. But then also sometimes my brain gets a bit distracted. I can realize that I've been blankly staring at a page for about 10 minutes, not reading a single word while my brain just goes off and does some other stuff, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reading. Or I'll get 10 pages along and then I'll be like, I was just reading? What did I just read? I'll tell you my goals now. I have decided that I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I don't want to be like, I'm gonna read 5 books this month. No. I am setting the bar low, but that does not mean that I only want to achieve that. I would like to exceed this goal, but it is the bare minimum, which is to read 1 full book, complete 1 book a month, which means I would read 12 books a year, which is much more than I'm doing now. So I think that's a good starting point and realistic. The other thing is, normally, as I said before, I only read 1 nonfiction usually. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is reading 2 books at a time, 2 or more books at a time. And that's something I was very much a stickler about, is like only read 1 book and finish it completely, because that's just my personality. If I start something, I have to complete it all the way through before starting something new, but sometimes that just doesn't work. I think I'm just selling myself a bit short here and being like, you can't read 2 books at a time. I don't know why I say that, but I think I'm capable of reading more than 1 book at a time. And I think it would be good for me because sometimes 1 book might get a bit stale and I'm like, I don't want to read this book right now, so I'm just not going to read. But if I have more than 1 option, I can be like, I don't want to read that book right now, so I'm going to read this other book. My big thing, I'm just like, I'm not putting pressure on myself. You're okay. There's no pressure. It's chill. Just chill. Too much pressure makes me crack. Okay, now that you guys know about my reading habits and about my goals, I can get into my to be read pile. It's a mixture of spirituality, witchcraft, fiction, and a couple of audiobooks. Let's start with the spiritual books. The first one that I want to get around to reading is another Eckhart Tolle book. Sorry, I just hit that. Eckhart Tolle book. I told you guys about The Power of Now in one of my recommendation videos a few videos ago. I loved that book. I really liked it. It really gave me a lot of things to think about. It wasn't sort of more surface level like a lot of spirituality books are. A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, about how the sort of ego-based consciousness that we have is the cause of our suffering and our unhappiness and our dysfunction. And it's sort of like a how-to book in order for us to figure out how to transcend to a higher state of consciousness, a more fulfilled way of existing. Then the next book is Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. A Metaphysical Guide to Meditation, Magic, and Manifestation. This book is basically many exercises for you to do in order to become more closely in contact with your psychic abilities. It tells you how to like master your perception so that you can perform magic anywhere at any time. And I think it just would be a really good book to heighten your daily practice and something to sort of be the basis for a lot of your spell work. I guess he talks about manifestation, to use like the subtle energies in order to bring results into your life, which I know a lot of people are interested in. I would guess this is going to be a really good foundational book, and I think for me it's going to be really insightful because I've never read a book like this before, and Matt Oren seems like a really cool guy. So yeah, I signed up for my local library card, and they have an app that you download and you just sign in with your library card, and then you have access to, it's just like a database. A lot of the time I like to listen to books about that are teaching me something, you know, gaining knowledge of something. I really like listening to it because it helps me absorb the information more deeply. The two books that I have on here that I found as audiobooks are The Intuitive Way by Penny Pierce. I guess this is sort of the workbook. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. I don't have the physical book to see it or flip through it to see what it actually has in it, but I believe it's more of like a workbook to help you become more in touch with your intuition and your perceptions and be able to utilize those on a daily basis more naturally. And that's something that I really want to become more attuned to, because I think that being an empath, a lot of energies become really overwhelming for me, and that's probably why I have such bad anxiety all the time. But this last one is To Walk a Pagan Path by Alaric Albertson. This one's just about sort of incorporating witchcraft into the mundane moments of everyday life. It's hard for me to have like a continuous practice that feels whole, and I think that this book is really about cultivating that daily practice that really fits into your life and also allows you to grow and learn and, you know, become better over time, instead of just being stagnant, like, oh, I have to light a candle every, you know what I mean? Now we can get into the fiction. The author of this actually posted on her Instagram saying that this was a year old or something, and I was like, oh, I haven't even read it. I pre-ordered this and I haven't read it. I haven't even read a single poem out of it. It's a poetry collection by Savannah Brown called Sweet Dark. Yeah, this is her second poetry collection. Her first one is called Graffiti, and that is a compilation of poems that she wrote when she was very young, like in high school, I think, and then also when she was a younger adult. And I really liked that. I thought it was very sweet and comforting and cozy, and I remember reading most of it in the bath. And a lot of those poems honestly still stick with me today. Like, I think about them sometimes. A lot of the time you can read poetry and just be like, that was good, but then you never think about it again. But with Graffiti, there were a couple that really stuck, and they really actually resonated. Like, they elicited a certain type of emotion from me that I wasn't expecting. I think it's inspiration. That's one of my favorite feelings ever in the world, is to feel inspired. I was trying to figure out how to do a summary of this, and then I read the back of this and I was like, I'm gonna read that because it's good. London and occasionally the apocalypse as a backdrop, Sweet Dark explores the transience of existence, the pursuit of vulnerability, pleasure, chaos, and the dichotomy of a life wholly experienced, full of so much darkness and so much sweetness, sometimes in the same breath. And the cover art, the cover painting is by Agnes Cecile, who is a painter that I have admired for so many years. When I was in high school, I did a presentation about her. She's amazing. But yeah, this cover is by her, and I was like, two worlds collide. Okay, it's called Normal People by Sally Rooney. Now, I did not realize this was the TV show that I was planning on watching. I didn't realize that the TV show that I was planning on watching was even a book. I was very confused, and also I was like, oh, good thing I haven't watched the show yet because I want to read this first. The plot line, as far as I could understand, is just like these two people who are very opposite of each other. Like, one is very popular, one is very quiet and like doesn't have friends. They basically know each other from school, they talk, and then they go off in their separate ways at university, but they keep being drawn back to each other despite the fact that they're sort of like putting no effort towards being with each other, I guess. I don't really know, it's so vague. I'm not really sure what like the draw here is, but I just feel like if that is the plot line to this, and people are raving about it, it must be good. It's like on a lot of people's favorite books list, and I just know that this Sally Rooney woman is going to be, I just feel like she's gonna blow me away. This one's really pretty short, and so I'm kind of excited to maybe start off with this fiction. I'm not really sure, there's so many. I want to read all of these, that's why they're on my TBR list. I'm so confronted about like which one do I start. The next one is a bit of a, it is Dance 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 by Haruki Murakami. This is a book that I've had on my shelf for a while, and it's been eyeballing me for a long time now, but I just feel intimidated by this writer. I hear a lot about Murakami, both good and bad, and so I'm just kind of like excited to read for myself and see how I like it. I know that this isn't necessarily one of the more controversial books. I know that there's one, I can't remember what it's called, like Norwegian Wood or something. I don't remember. It's something like that. A lot of people either love it or hate it, and I mean the themes in it, I could understand why. I probably wouldn't like it very much, but this one I'm really curious about. So the plot of this, I'm gonna read this because it's kind of honestly baffling to me. This guy who goes on a mission to find a vanished girlfriend. It's a thriller, but also has sci-fi elements and mysticism, question mark. But also it's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody who's going on a mission to find a vanished girlfriend, and it's all of the genres wrapped up into one. I don't know. Maybe I'll read this one first. I honestly don't know. This one might be a little bit too baffling for me to start with. Maybe I'll be like, whoa, like what have I jumped into right here? Maybe I should have gone with a little bit more of a simple book, but yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I like the title of it, Dance Dance Dance. I don't know why. I just think it's cute. I'm not really sure what it's relating to. Maybe it's not so cute, but I think that it sounds intriguing. And sci-fi isn't something that I normally get into, so I'm kind of excited to like go into uncharted territory and experience that realm. Having said that though, I guess I'll just keep on going with the sci-fi, which is I Sing the Body Electric by Ray Bradbury, which is apparently not a novel. I thought this was a novel, but it's apparently a collection of short stories. They're sci-fi, and I mean, Ray Bradbury is said to be like the best sci-fi writer ever. I actually found this at a thrift store when I was looking for Bradbury, like From the Dust Returned and Something Wicked This Way Comes. I was looking for him for Halloween last year, and I found this one. So I picked it up because I really liked the title of it, I Sing the Body Electric, which is a quote from a poem from Walt Whitman. I sing the body electric. I just love the way that sounds so much. I sing the body electric. Everything about that is just so, I don't know, you guys. It's really, let me make sure you're still filming because I don't know. It's been a while. I'm on my last one. Called Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. And when I heard that she was coming out with a book, I was like, oh, absolutely, I am gonna read that. This is another one that I pre-ordered so that I could like donate to the Patreon of it. And so because I did that, you can find my name in the back of this book if you look. Where is it? Can you see that? So I spent a lot of money on this book, but alas, I have not read it, and it came out probably a year ago. This is pretty much a love story in reverse. It starts at the breakup. They've broken up, this couple, they're not together anymore, they're not in love anymore. And then every chapter goes back in time until like their first meeting, them falling in love. I don't really know where it's gonna go. I have a feeling it's gonna be uplifting and have like a really nice moral of the story. And I just feel like this one's gonna be like something that's gonna engross me and keep me intrigued for a while, because I've never read anything like this where it's backwards. And also I really like Hazel, and I feel like I'm just gonna hear her voice narrating this in my head while I'm reading, so I like that too. I mean, it looks like maybe a bigger book. I don't know how many pages. Oh, it's not that long. 356 pages. It's probably like the biggest book that I have, but probably one of the easier books to read potentially. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is the last one, and it's a romance. So I've got like a romance kind of, but in reverse. I've got a sci-fi short story collection. I've got a conglomeration of every genre there ever was. I've got I don't know, is this a love story? I don't know, honestly. Poetry, book about psychics, and also a book about letting go of your ego, I guess. I don't know. And then also Intuitive Way and To Walk a Pagan Path. Here's my TBR for the next couple of months. I know it's kind of like a niche topic, I guess. Not everybody likes to read, but if you guys are interested in that, I would be more than willing and happy to do that, and maybe you guys could keep me accountable for reading more often, because it is something that I highly enjoy. Of course I enjoy it, it's just like a lot of the time I just deprive myself of things that make me happy. So let me know what you're reading in the comments below, and I will see you guys very soon with another video.